All right, to properly understand AWS EMR, we have to understand the data lake and data analytics journey. Let's start with the beginning of data lakes. This idea that I have a bunch of different data sources, from databases to flat file systems. We create a data lake. A file system or file storage mechanism where I can just dump all of that data into the analytics platform. So once I have a data lake, I need to transact on that data lake. This is where a product something like, or a project something like Hadoop comes into play. With Hadoop, I can take my file system, HDFS, Hadoop file system, expand that across multiple nodes, and then transact on that data using the power of these nodes. It's not just storage, it's storage and compute. So my data scientists can write software packages that use Hadoop as the interface. A problem with Hadoop file system and Hadoop in itself, one, is complex, and then two, it's not performant, if that's a word, compared to something like an in-memory database. We talked about that with Redis, SAP HANA, etc. So I may want to use something like Spark on top of HDFS to write faster queries, real-time queries, batch processes, etc. in a very simple language compared to what I have to write with Hadoop. If you're a IT expert, you're starting to think, and this is the route that I went down, how do I put my Spark system on top of HDFS without creating a separate Spark cluster, kind of use the same nodes? And this is where EMR comes into play. I can now use EMR to manage all of this layer of infrastructure. Set up my cluster. AWS abstracts away the S3 storage to the compute, and I just use the interface from it from either a serverless perspective, or if I have to turn the nerd knobs, I can do that within a traditional cluster. Now I can use this same cluster or technology to run a Pesto node or set of nodes, a Hive cluster, whatever my framework for analytics is, I can now use that on top of the AWS infrastructure without having to worry about scaling and managing the underlying infrastructure. You want to learn more about the CTO Advisor? You can visit us on the web, thectoadvisor.com, awseveryday.com to subscribe to AWS Everyday in your inbox.